10 Best Countries to Live in the World. The idea of moving abroad is always appealing, whether you want to live somewhere with a better quality of living or simply have an insatiable appetite for travel. But before starting, support the channel by liking this video and subscribing to this channel for future updates. For the past 2 years, AU's rankings have been largely driven by the COVID-19 pandemic, with lockdowns and social distancing measures affecting scores for culture, education, and healthcare in cities across the world. The 2022 report seems to signal a return to pre-pandemic trends, although several other factors, particularly Russia's invasion of Ukraine, have caused some regions to fall in the rankings. Beyond the essential ideas of broad access to food and housing, quality education and healthcare, to employment that will sustain us, quality of life may also include intangibles such as job security, political stability, individual freedom, and environmental quality. Through all phases of life, these countries treat their citizens well. So here are the top 10 best countries to live a quality life. Number 10. New Zealand. British and Polynesian influences course through picturesque New Zealand, an island nation in the Pacific Ocean southeast of Australia. Today, 70% of Kiwis, a common term for the people of New Zealand after a native flightless bird, are of European descent. Though the British monarch remains head of state, New Zealand has operated under an independent parliamentary democracy led by a prime minister since its independence in 1907. In 2017, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern led the Progressive Labour Party to victory and became the youngest female leader in the world. New Zealand saw impressive growth and transformation in the decades following independence. The export market, abounding with dairy, sheep, beef, poultry, fruit, vegetables, and wine, was opened beyond the UK, and manufacturing and tourism were expanded. Per capita income remains high and education expenditures as 8% of the gross domestic product are some of the highest in the world. Since 1980, New Zealand has been a nuclear-free zone. It is a leader in peacekeeping and global security and a party to key international organizations, including the United Nations, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, and Pacific Islands Forum. Number 9. Germany. Germany, the most populous nation in the European Union, possesses one of the largest economies in the world and has seen its role in the international community grow steadily since reunification. The Central European country borders 9 nations, and its landscape varies, from the northern plains that reach the North and Baltic Seas to the Bavarian Alps in the south. Germany employs a social market economy, open market capitalism that also carries certain social service guarantees. Its economy is one of the world's largest and Germany is one of the globe's leading importers and exporters. Services, which include industries such as telecommunications, healthcare, and tourism, contribute the greatest amount to the country's economy. Industry and agriculture are other significant economic sectors. Germany belongs to major international organizations, including the United Nations, the European Union, the Group of 20, NATO, and the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Number 8. Finland. Geography defines the history and culture of Nordic Finland, one of the most northern-reaching countries in the world. Bordered by Norway, Sweden, Russia, the Baltic Sea and the Gulf of Bothnia, Finland and its vast stretches of heavily forested open land acts as a northern gate between west and east. In recent years, however, a downturn in demand for its exports caused a recession that it is just emerging from. The country faces other challenges, notably an aging population and the question of how to maintain its welfare state model. Finland is a member of major international organizations, such as the United Nations, World Bank, and European Union, as well as regional organizations such as the Nordic Council. Number 7. The Netherlands. Situated along the fringes of Western Europe, the Netherlands is a coastal lowland freckled with windmills characteristic of its development around the water. 3 major European rivers, the Rhine, Meuse, and Schelde run through neighbors Germany and Belgium into the nation's busy ports. Known for its tulips, this high income, the developed nation is one of the world's leading exporters of agriculture, an industry that has become mostly mechanized. An open market policy and prime transportation location help the Netherlands maintain a trade surplus, but the economy continues to recover from an expensive stimulus program designed to help it bounce back after the economic downturn in 2009. The Netherlands is active in United Nations peacekeeping efforts and has headquarters at the International Court of Justice and the International Criminal Court in The Hague. It was a founding member of NATO and the modern-day European Union, of which it has been quite vocally supportive. Number 6. Australia. The Commonwealth of Australia occupies the Australian continent. The country also includes some islands, most notably Tasmania. The nation has a high rate of participation in sporting activities and boasts a comparatively high life expectancy for both females and males. Australians remain particularly concerned about environmental issues, according to surveys and government data. The country has ratified the Kyoto Protocol, the United Nations treaty that calls on nations to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Nevertheless, carbon dioxide emissions per capita are comparatively high among nations. Australia is a member of major international and regional organizations, including the United Nations, the Group of 20, the World Trade Organization, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the Commonwealth of Nations, and the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation. Number 5. Switzerland. Switzerland, officially called the Swiss Confederation, is a small country in Central Europe made up of 16,000 square miles of glacier-carved Alps, lakes, and valleys. It's one of the world's wealthiest countries and has been well known for centuries for its neutrality. Switzerland is also notable for its secretive banking sector. Reporting rules and legislation have led to more transparency, but secrecy rules persist and non-residents are allowed to conduct business through offshore entities and various intermediaries. Switzerland's neutrality has long been honored by its European neighbors. The country didn't take a side in either of the world wars and is not a member of the European Union. As a result, Switzerland, particularly Geneva, is a popular headquarters location for international organizations, such as the International Committee of the Red Cross and the United Nations, though Switzerland did not join the latter until 2002. The country is also a member of the IMF, WTO, and World Bank. Number 4. Norway. The Kingdom of Norway is the westernmost country in the Scandinavian peninsula, made up mostly of mountainous terrain. Nearly all of its population lives in the south, surrounding the capital, Oslo. Norway's coastline is made up of thousands of miles of fjords, bays, and island shores. Norway is a high-income nation with a vibrant private sector and a substantial safety net. The discovery of oil and gas off the coast in the 1960s gave the country an economic boost, and today Norway is one of the world's leading petroleum exporters. Like many countries in Europe, Norway struggles with how to integrate refugees and ethnic minorities. Other challenges include how to preserve the country's robust social safety net with an aging population, and how to continue to be economically competitive as global oil prices fall. In 1949, Norway abandoned neutrality and became a member of NATO. The country is not a member of the European Union, rejecting membership in both 1972 and 1994. Number 3. Sweden. The Kingdom of Sweden, flanked by Norway to the west and the Baltic Sea to the east, expands across much of the Scandinavian peninsula and is one of the largest countries in the European Union by land mass. However, Sweden's export-dependent economy is tightly integrated with the European Union. Both took a tumble with the recent decline of the euro, but Sweden is seeing a steady recovery and seeking to expand trade markets for its timber, hydropower, and iron ore. Sweden is an Enhanced Opportunities Partner of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It is also a member of the United Nations, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and the World Trade Organization, among others. Number 2. Denmark. The Kingdom of Denmark emerged in the 10th century and includes two North Atlantic island nations, the Faroe Islands and Greenland. Along with Sweden and Norway, it forms Scandinavia, a cultural region in Northern Europe. Denmark has several leading industries including food processing, tourism, and the production of iron, steel, and machinery. Its main exports are processed foods, agricultural and industrial machinery, pharmaceuticals, and furniture. Denmark's economy is based on the flexicurity model, which combines a flexible labor market with a policy for the unemployed. This flexicurity model allows for businesses to establish inexpensively and quickly, as there is scarce government oversight regarding matters such as terminations or work hours. The Danish corporate tax rate is 24.5%, but its income tax rate is among the highest in the world. A founding member of NATO, Denmark is a member of many other international organizations including the European Union, United Nations, the Nordic Council, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. Number 1. Canada. Canada takes up about 2/5 of the North American continent, making it the second largest country in the world after Russia. The country is sparsely populated, with most of its residents living within 125 miles of its border with the United States. Canada's expansive wilderness to the north plays a large role in Canadian identity, as does the country's reputation for welcoming immigrants. Canada is a high-tech industrial society with a high standard of living. Trade agreements in the 1980s and 1990s dramatically bolstered trade with the US, and now the two counties are each other's largest trading partners. While the service sector is Canada's biggest economic driver, the country is a significant exporter of energy, food, and minerals. Canada ranks third in the world in proven oil reserves and is the world's fourth largest oil producer. Canada is a member of the United Nations, through which it has participated in many peacekeeping missions. It is also a member of NATO and the Commonwealth of Nations. That's it from this video. Let us know what you think about the list in the comments section below. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and also subscribe to our channel. Thank you.